Thank you. Thank you to Craig and Maureen for inviting me to present on behalf of Uneedle. I should say before I present that I'm an advisor to the company, I'm an investor, and I'm a shareholder. I personally think Uneedle has a best-in-class approach to delivering drugs to the suprachoroidal space. And if you're interested after the talk, I'd suggest you speak with Sven Mentink, who's here at the meeting. So what is Uneedle? Uneedle has actually been around since 2008. It's a company based in the Netherlands, and they have a proprietary approach to needle manufacturing, which allows for simplicity and high reproducibility, precise delivery of these drugs. As you can see on the upper left, that's a standard steel needle, which is actually, it has to be made with a bevel that's almost a millimeter long. The Uneedle solution on the other side has a much shorter bevel, and so delivers much more precise delivery. These needles are made with an in-house proprietary manufacturing process, which is essentially identical to silicon chips we use for computers. The company has a number of employees, which you can see, and it has 12 active ongoing collaborations in clinical development. And here's a schematic that shows how it is delivered, very similar to an intravitreal injection, but with their proprietary needle, it's essentially, if not impossible, very difficult to penetrate into the vitreous, and high, as I said, very high reproducibility to the suprachoroidal space. So here is high resolution to show you the difference between a standard grinded steel needle on the right and this Precision X silicon needle on the left. And as you can see, the bevel opening is just much, much shorter and allows for much more precise delivery with the Uneedle system. This, to me, I think is sort of the money slide, if you will. Cross-section through the retina on the left, you can see the retina, the choroid, the sclera. The retina in an average normal eye is about 250 microns. The choroid, more or less about the same, although it does thin with age, and then the sclera is about a millimeter typically. And you can see if you have a millimeter opening of a standard steel needle, it's very easy to envision that you would perhaps perforate or penetrate the retina, and it would be very difficult to place that in the precise potential space, the suprachoroidal potential space. It also is, I believe, more likely that you're going to have drug efflux if you have such a big bevel in your needle. This proprietary needle has been tested in about 500 animals of multiple species, so rabbits, pigs, and non-human primates around the globe at many, many CROs. So these are effectively independent testings and demonstration of the simplicity and the reliability. Here's just one very recent example of injection of ICG into a non-human primate eye. And importantly, what you see here is on day 2 that you have essentially complete distribution to the posterior segment, including the macula, which of course is where we typically want to get these drugs at the end of the day. So high reliability, very simple, straightforward procedure. Here's a typical injection in an animal. You can see it's essentially very similar to what we do with an intravitreal injection. Placement, the needle goes in very easily. As I said, it's very difficult to have it go through and into the retina. It seems to find the potential space very comfortably and reliably. Small pledget, although reflux, as I said, is very uncommon, even with repeat injections. This is a representative clinical study where there were 15 surgeons who were using the needle and then asked about its integrity, risk, ease, and reflux at the end of the case, and essentially it was 100% satisfaction. It's a small study, but very, very high satisfaction, and it was with a single needle length, so each injector only had to use one needle length. As you know, with some of these injectors, you have to change the needle for about 10 to 15% of patients where you can't find the potential space. So again, very simple to use. It has global regulatory clearance, US and Europe, and so it can go into clinical studies very seamlessly. And the company has now announced that they have this, again, proprietary pre-filled syringe option where you can have your drug in the syringe ready to be used. And I know for very, very busy practices, this is often preferred by the clinicians. So for those of you who've worked with the company, and there are a dozen or more, as I said, what I think the experience has been very positive. They have a team that will be very interactive, very collaborative, work with you both pre and post-IND to both develop the drug-needle combination and to interact with the regulatory authorities. So I thank you very much, and I would, as I said, feel free to reach out to me or, as on this email, to Sven, and he'll get back to you. Thank you.